Yo, yo, yo. Oi, oi. How's it going, everybody? Bigfoot Scrimcast. Pen Clan Wars Season 3, Episode 4 tonight, alongside Highland Wolf. You there, buddy?
I am here. Welcome, everyone, to another night of epic games and epic proportions here. And I tell you what, if it's going to be anything like last week, taking a week off, coming back in, some epic games and some stompings of games, perhaps hopefully not see so much of that tonight, see a bit more fair-paced gameplay.
Yes, tell everyone where you've been, mate. How's it been? What you been doing?
It's been chill. I've been working back in university as well, just chilling, getting back into the swing of things, as we do. But there's nothing better than sitting back, relaxing, casting some Penetrate Clan Wars on a Sunday night. And here we go, starting off in the first game, and it will be that plane path, Bigfoot going down in the south tonight, all the way from Puerto Paisio to Monte Nuevo on the other side. And this could be pretty interesting for a lot of these teams who like to drop in Los Leones, particularly the likes of Gods of Greece, Sparta. We've got Invasion Esports and also Team Incognito all in here, but they dropped down in that area last week. So potentially, if we do see them, that zone maybe go towards the north side, it could be interesting to see how those three teams get out of Los Leones.
Yeah, looks like we've got a Puerto Parezo drop as well. Might be worth checking some of that out early on, but I do want to keep an eye on this flight path and just see where everyone else does drop. We do have Task alongside 2 seconds. Gods of Greece, and it's Medusa's team. This is Gods of Greece Sparta. They promised me they're going to get into the top 3 by the end of the season. I'm rooting for them. Going to also check out the rest of this. Los Leones has got 3 teams in, spreading out. Looks like there might be 2 going to Picardo, and everyone else jumping out further on of that flight. But I don't think anyone... Oh, there we have it. Rags and Penetrate still there. And down in Puerto Parezo, they haven't quite landed right up next to each other, so it will be a matter of who chooses to make that push first. And it does look like there's only 3 in Team Task, so Gods of Greece do have a 1-player advantage, I think. I'll just switch over to Gods of Greece. And yeah, they do have all 4 players there. And everyone's jumped out now. Unlucky Gills look like they're going up to maybe Ruins or Trailer Park, a bit of an obscure drop. We'll jump back into the gameplay now away from that map. As you can see, Zeus here looting up. Zeus and Medusa on the same team. Is this Sparta or Olympus? It is Sparta. Zeus has switched over as a sub.
I'm also super interested, actually, whether actually AMZ have dropped over in Impala. Judging, obviously, AMZ, they last week dropped over inside of Monte Nuevo. This time, potentially trying to attack the side of Xenofrenzy, who dropped in Impala last week. And surprisingly, actually, Benevide Vici, they're not going to drop over in Impala. This time without that stomping routine that we had last week.
No way.
Picardo, they will be dropping over there. Dream Team, though, looking like they're going to pick up the first bloods.
Absolutely crazy nade there from Andrex into Zeus. Going to try and finish off with another nade, but not going to land. Medusa pushing in for the revive as Emil and Marina push in. They've made that 3-person versus 4-person disadvantage an advantage in their hands. Andrex goes down to Triton as Andrex tries to squeeze in on that knock, but Triton is also slightly down. Can Emil finish them off? But Emil gets down from the side as well. Very bloody early drop here. The first people to put their boots on the soil are the first to start taking Jabra out right now. Marina's going in, trying to clutch this, but if Marina goes down, it is all over for Task, and there it is.
Yeah, unfortunately, their Gods of Greece will be the victors. Task, they were a promising team. We've seen them have good results on Miramar, but just not their night here starting off. They're going to have to go back to drawing board, figure out a new strategy moving into Wrangle for game number 2. Puerto Paisio will be their grave. But looking at the rest of this map here, now into phase 1 zone has landed. Pretty central here, but notice that it actually does kind of skirt around the south end. So these south end teams are going to be pretty happy with that. They're not going to have to likely move too much. And also note that it's, well, game over. They're a team that have always had to be moving closer to the zone, this time over in El Pozo on the edge of it. So they potentially, instead of moving in, will have to now gatekeep against Unlucky Girls who are to their west.
We've got V-Man inside this Zen team as well. There's a Xeno Frenzy. We've got Naughty, V-Man, and Nyx. And as well, elsewhere, we also have Vape Denny. So a bit of a mix in this team. I think Man might be new this week to this team. They sent one sniper shot in AMZ, but they've kind of retreated now. And I came over here thinking we might see a bit of an AMZ bloodbath, or maybe Zen. But actually, they might actually be rotating round to the high ground to keep an eye on them and their movement throughout this drop zone. And have a little look. I think that might have been the plan there, to make this long rotation round to have that overwatch over the entire town.
And I'm loving that Denny is going to do this, but also keep in mind this does potentially make it a little bit of a disadvantage for the side of Zen if actually they do get caught out by AMC, because keep in mind it's still AMZ that can kind of gatekeep 3 members of the side of Zen Frenzy here, so they could be 3 easy kills, then Denny just having to make their way solo into zone. But equally, if they do get caught out, Denny is that insurance policy for them, and they can still potentially survive later into the game. But it will be a tough call for them to take down AMZ. And down on the south end, while we talk about the rest of these kind of rotations here, actually surprised just looking down actually the right prophecy there. They do get away with that 2-2 split, making their way instead with a boat across the south end of the ocean away from the side of ZPX Maniacs, so they will not be caught out that 2-2 split. And I think, you know, what do you think really? I mean, we've seen so many times, you know, to these 2-2 splits. Do you think it's a smart thing to do here on Miramar, or do you think these teams should be sticking together?
100%. Well, if you're in an area like they are, there's no point being all together. It's very inefficient looting. There's only a couple buildings per compound on that island, on that little island, so you need to split up if you're going to loot that area. There's some areas where it's just not really a question. There's actually no point staying together as 4, and if it's very spread out loot with low chances of running into a full squad, then that's when you have to be going 2-2, or you're just going to be, especially outside of zone, you're going to be using up all this time to run through compounds when no one's really going to be coming out with much substantial loot. So that's why they've done that. ZPX might drive past them soon, and they've actually, whilst we've been talking about it, just met up, which is a little bit strange. There's no real need. Maybe they're just going to meet up so they can move together. They don't know for sure anyone else is down in that south. Institute have been taking quite a consistent 2-2 sort of style of play, and it works. They've been doing that quite consistently. It works out really well for them. So even in areas full of players, and there we have Hazy down actually. And you were talking before about Zen taking this rear overwatch. They could have just as well gone all the way around. They could have maybe used the terrain, etc., to rotate around to that tall building on the zone side of this area, but they've actually came all the way up to the rocks. And they managed to get one knock on Hazy, but the distance does make it hard to get confirmations. So maybe they've pinned themselves. We'll have to see how this plays out, as War Machine actually looks like making a move up. War Machine coming on a solo flank, going to try and wipe the whole of Zen. This could be interesting.
Yeah, and equally on the other side, you know, you've got Puerto Plesio, and it doesn't look so good for Dream Team rotating into open arms of Gods of Greece. The open loving bullet arms of Gods of Greece. They've already lost 2 members. Dorian and Finkali are down. Only Ollie and Wondery there. A split move here from both those Dream Team members who have been knocked. It will be likely down Dream Team just to 2 members remaining in this game. Gods of Greece really putting the pain into him on that eastern coastline. But I think for now, while we see these rotations, we see these initial kills, right, getting on the board for game number 1. We're not going to see too much action. I suspect that as we kind of go through the rest of this phase 1, and only then when we see phase 2, when teams have to again rotate, we might see more kills come out. We do see, though, of course, this central zone could go any way. So as I mentioned, it is all up to where this next zone goes. But while we sit here, potentially looking for this next zone, they're not looking so hot. They're going to have to sit and try to find a way to spread the Fraser back into the zone, as they've been knocked down to 2 members.
War Machine's flying kind of worked out in the end. Managed to get Nix as they try to drive away. Nix was the only player not inside the car. And now War Machine will get that loot. That flank nearly turned out to be a squad wipe, but just maybe about 10 seconds too late to really smash out that car. But yeah, definitely did manage to get 1 kill there with an amazing surprise flank. And back down in the south, we do have DT. And they have lost 2 players, as you commentated before. We didn't get to watch that, but Gods of Greece here in this south side maybe going to finish off the last 2 players before they have to move to zone.
Yeah, it was just because they were split. They didn't really appreciate that someone would actually be there in Puerto Paisio starting off for this game, and they just got caught out, unfortunately, in separate vehicles. They got split apart, and then, as you mentioned, they're now down just to half their firepower. It's going to be difficult for them, but still, keep in mind, they do keep 2 members alive, so they do have the potential later in these zones to flank round, maybe even send one of them off to their death, potentially, if they need to scout out if the zone does get a little bit tricky. So there are options still for Dream Team on the board. But as we mentioned, I kind of lost a member there for the side of Xeno Frenzy. They now have moved their way into Los Leones, and rotating around is great and all, but there's so many teams tonight that likely a majority of these compounds, the majority is placed on the map where these teams are rotating to already have a team or some form of members inside of them. And as you see there, they are going to be going into Los Leones. It is a big compound, but still keep in mind there are the El Estalda there starting off. Looking around the rest of the map, just to west of them though, Chumacera potentially could be Invasion Esports in a tricky position if they do get caught in the side hard shift, and also the side of Penn Institute here to west of them.
Gods of Greece making that south rotation away from Puerto Paisio. Not going to bother with the last 2 Dream Team members. And going to make zone on the important thing right now. As yeah, Xeno Frenzy do get a little bit closer in Los Leones. And someone has just pulled up. One of the elves, two of the elves pulled up in a vehicle right next to V-Man. Right next to V-Man. This could be interesting. Do they know? Have the elves heard? They must have heard footsteps. Yeah, V-Man's moving. There's Molotovs around. They know something's up.
It'll be interesting to see how they respond. Potentially this is now where you bring in the sound. This is where you start to really have to listen in. But the knockup has come in against the elves. They have spotted them out. There will be now a second onto Kronos. So it will likely also coming in. It will be knocked down. Klein. It just looks a disaster here as they have been caught.
Yeah, really good work by V-Man there. Getting that long range shot too, and finishing, well, knocking down Kronos. But the Rev has came in. Mollies are going into that area as Denny comes round for a flank. As V-Man goes on the other side, this should be murder she wrote for the elves. Getting pushed from both sides right now. V-Man goes down, but then here comes Denny from the flank. There goes Quan and Kronos too, and that is the elves off the map. As Xeno Frenzy take 4 kills for their team with only 3 members remaining.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about, right? You're moving into a new compound. You just got to be expecting of these members. Zen Havoc, they unfortunately didn't have a great time. And Impala, they did get kind of target dropped there by Animal Lions. But do make it out, do get now 4 kills on the board, keeping importantly all their members alive and still in control of Los Leones. But that zone has gone hard west. It will be in favor of these teams over in that western side, of course. So still ways to go for Los Leones in the side of Xeno Havoc, and also AMZ traveling further towards the western side, back into now this phase 2 zone. I'm particularly interested in the north side though here, Bigfoot. There still is a little bit of Picardo Hill here in play, and potentially teams might be using that, particularly around the side of Team Clown and Benevici on this north side. Potentially that high ground advantage for Team Clown could play in for vision and also for advantage sniping down onto them.
And in the far north, you've got Zed Paradox and Pen Game Over. Paradox may be able to pin Game Over out of the zone here, but it looks like Game Over getting in their vehicles, maybe making a move, as well as Gods of Greece driving right into the middle, directly into the middle of the entire Riot squad. Triton's about to go down and get over it. Aphrodite's pulling in. Xena might be going to get Aphrodite straight down. Really unfortunate place to pull up as Triton goes down. Aphrodite's about to be finished off. Zeus and Medusa are going to either have to run or handle this from the high ground. 2 Gods of Greece members Sparta taken out just like that, driving right into the center of Riot.
Yeah, you're breaking the speed limit there, Gods of Greece and Riot. They'll slow you down. They'll just wipe you off the map. here in this first game, down to also 2 members themselves. Gods of Greece punished for a over eager rotation here into the zone straight along the main road. Riot will have caught him out. And interestingly enough, ZPX, side of ZPX Maniacs, they could have potentially been at third party against all of these 2 squads, but choose not to. They go a little bit more west, hear that gunplay, they hear the firing of those bullets, and they will move away into the zone a different direction through Minister Val, which will be interesting to see how both Riot and ZPX move a little bit closer into the zone, particularly if it goes a little bit more north. We do see these teams making their rotation in.
Medusa and Zeus just making it away there. Panda running to try and flush them out. But yeah, Aphrodite driving straight into the middle there. Could have taken a leaf out of Medusa and Zeus's book and pulled up in a more secure location. Does look like they're going to get away with 2 of them. And we do know Gods of Greece can play it slow if they need to. So they're probably going to try and just edge in this zone bit by bit. And does look like Zed Paradox and Penetrate haven't clashed in El Pozo. And they've gone their separate ways. Zed Paradox kind of going southeast and Game Over going southwest. Unlucky kills up in that area in the northwest as well. Could maybe come across Game Over, as well as the Penetrate Gunners inside Monte Nuevo. Grassroots there to the east of Monte Nuevo. Penetrate Institute still in a similar spot in Chumacera, next to Invasion Esports, as Xeno Frenzy and AMZ drive in from the east. Gods of Greece, that duo remaining down in that southeast. Riot going to move into zone from the south as well. And the other Z Paradox team coming up from the south as Incognito take the high ground just south of La Drillera.
Yeah, these teams are pretty close together, and I'm actually loving the positioning right now from Unlucky Girls. Right, they've got the high ground advantage. Gabi will have potentially vision alongside the rest of their team, pulling up with Tokyo there over the side of Pen Gunners. So that will be valuable, especially looking down onto this compound here. It is open areas for some parts of it, and if they do have a tricky time, I think, for Pen Gunners, if they want to try focus down on Lucky Girls, there's not really easy access up towards them. So if they do play the long range game right, that could be a massive advantage towards them. But also I like the positioning over on Team Clan, a little bit more central into the zone. They do have eyes on the road, and potentially also, if they need to retreat, go up a hill, and they do then have the high ground advantage versus potentially even 1 or 2 teams there moving into the center of the zone. So these 2 teams are looking pretty strong right now. Particularly, is there any teams that need to be making a move here? Any teams that looking a bit weak in their rotation?
I was just looking at Institute, thinking they don't need to move at all right now. They need to wait. They might be waiting to see where the zone goes, and they're kind of scoping into the location of Invasion Esports, and it looks like they're actually going further into Chumacera, maybe going to take an advantageous position, expecting this zone to close in around them. Going to take a second to actually notice where they're going. Cons has just taken out Menace, though, so that will be Game Over, looking Overwatch into Monte Nuevo and hitting out Gunners.
Yeah, that will be a knock for knock.
It does look like Penetrate Institute are going to be taking this high ground vantage point around Chumacera, and praying the zone's going to be coming towards them. The same prayer that Incognito are making right now. Trying to take that advantageous high ground position, and if the zone does come towards you, you can just rake in those kills. But jump over to the Game Over right now and see if they're still bearing down on the Gunners.
They certainly are. Here we go. Side of Rags there, making a little bit of an eye out, and letting them know they're still here. Bigfoot, they are still ways apart, though there is a very vast desert between them, and will be tricky to get a car into them. But we will see, unfortunately, side of Pen Gunners there looking a bit unlucky. Here is Unlucky Girls bear down upon them. We mentioned that with a high ground advantage, if they could find that long range attack, and they do so expertly. Unlucky Girls wiping the side of Gunners just to half their squad. Us and Menace both eliminated out of the game. Is that zone a bad time for them to be knocked? Moves down away from them all.
And yeah, it looks like the zone might end up in Chumacera. So Institute taking that high ground was a good shout. Have a little look. Have a little look at the formation they're taking to wait in. Very tactical team. Maybe choosing one of the most tactical positions in this high ground area. Yeah, it's pretty good. Aren't sending anyone up onto the top of the pipes. It's not the best place to be anyway. They're going to take one of these buildings, and Tarzan's actually down in the warehouses there. Hopefully not going to get caught out. Having a look at the map again, see if anyone's going to rotate into each other. It looks like people, if they go straight in, have got a reasonably clear push forward. Does look like the Unlucky Girls have spotted the rest of game Gunners too, and they might be shooting down on them. Z Paradox coming into the rear end of Grassroots there. Maybe going to meet up with Team Clown as well. And we have teams pushing up from the south too. HS, Sparta and Co. This is... what? Team 6 isn't even labelled on this.
Hot Shift.
Not on mine. There's no Team 6.
It's okay. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, they're just not there.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting team, though, because this is Hardman's team all the way from the Zenith League, so potentially looking for big things coming out of this team. They do have to obviously contend with the Institute team. They are more, I would say, a brains team rather than brawn. They I like the rotations, I like their positioning, but sometimes when it comes to the fights, they can't quite execute. They haven't had to move either. Chimazera is their primary drop spot, so they will have control. They will know exactly this area particularly, but then comes the question, right? If it does center around Chimazera, Bigfoot, can they hold up? Can they survive against third, maybe even particularly fourth parties coming in from different directions? Do we know the area that well?
Well, we got the Paradox pushing in on them, and Hardman and Go have already knocked Lazy and Kvesh. Zyko is going to try and push in and get Hardman, but Hardman moving around. And does look like Hardman goes down, actually, outsprayed with a Scar L. And that will be a team wipe there. Or is it Hot Shift or Hard Shift?
Hard Shift.
Hard Shift there. Hardman with Hard Shift. Oh, we're good to see Hardman's got a new team going on. And yeah, they've been teasing the sexual tension between them and Institute has been quite a lot. They've been quite close to each other. Two tactical teams, so close, but not quite ready to make a move just yet. But looks like Hard Shift did go down at the south to do some gatekeeping that worked out in their favor, scoring them 3 kills. And now this zone is getting on, and these survival teams are getting pushed close together. We're starting to see more fights as Grassroots Boy goes down to the Unlucky Girls, who do have a knock on their side also. Xander very, very low on health, and Gabby there. Just going to be putting a first aid kit in as well. Who's Grassroots desperately trying to reform, get their health back up. Takita's healing back up too, resetting this fight. But the Grassroots already down to 3 players and getting pushed again might be pretty tricky for them as Takita comes pushing in. Everyone's healed up and they are getting pushed quite heavily right now. They're going to have to pull off a miracle to survive this.
Yeah, certainly, though, Grassroots, they have been separated. 2-1 split between them, and Lucky Girls have found a place where to actually start. The Hippie making that dangerous rotation. Now they're just 1-1-1 split, and it potentially is a little bit dangerous. Xana also trying to rotate back into Hippie Boy, but Unlucky Girls, they're trying to spray it down. They're trying to flank round him. Sander there as well just actually does make it round back to Dragon. So Unlucky Girls may be missing a trick here. They have unfortunately let them go. Gabby has moved away from Hippie Boy, so that grenade won't land. Alexa there also misfiring grenades. So these teams don't really know exactly where these two are. Even as you see more Molotovs, more grenades going over into that building where Grassroots were. But they've already moved. They're quick
that was
to their
excellent
feet.
Little retreat there. They got away completely unnoticed and got to form back up. Team Clown in the kill feed smashing down Benny Viddy Vissy with some vehicle explosions. Unlucky Girls desperate to get in on this as Carbon takes out Spartma, but then Hardman takes down Cons too. So you can see on the iPad screen the fight between Hard Shift and Penetrate Game Over right now. It's going to be pretty interesting to see who can come out on top of that, as it is outside of any compound. This is a terrain fight you're seeing on the iPad.
Yeah, and Hard Shift have this high ground advantage. He's on the side of Pen Game Over. They moved from the north side. Interestingly, rotated down to the south, expecting potentially to have some easy way in. But it is a hard fight here ahead of him, as Hardman's team will be, you mentioned here, up in the high ground. We will have the advantage, particularly on Miramar, but the low ground still is strong. They still have a vehicle there potentially as well to rotate. You see two of them making a flank rotation round, potentially trying to catch them out. We see on that kill feed though, and Lucky Girls and Grassroots going toe-to-toe, but Grassroots did finally get caught out, and Lucky Girls securing himself 3 more kills in total for the squad. You see potentially just a panic rotation here from Game Over as they send 2 members over into the zone, as it does get all that tight of all these teams still alive. 14 teams still in this game, and really only Chumacera, the only sole compound to retreat into. Game Over, though, their rotation not proving fruitful. They lose 2 members and they lose their vehicle outside the zone.
Yeah, so Institute with the holding up in Tumasera, really good shout. They're maybe going to be able to farm some good kills here. You've got 2 players from Hardshift and 2 players from Penetrative stuck back, while the other 2 from both teams have moved forward to zone. Sauron and Tarzan look like they're sticking together. Maybe going to push up towards Rasa because it's getting pretty hot in this circle now, and they could do it all being together instead of being in this distant 2-2 split. And it's they're going to retreat away from Incognito coming in from the edge of the zone. Team Clown are coming in too. You've got AMZ over there. And they've... Oh, Omen's nearly been taken down from the distance. Not even sure who's shooting at Omen right now. There's so many teams around, but Omen will make it behind some cover. I think that might have been AMZ or maybe Invasion Esports.
Yeah, and also just keep in mind it is still a 2-2 split here coming out from Institute as well, with all of these teams edging their way closer into the Tumasera compound. AMZ also moving up, but you see Invasion Esports trying to punish their rotation in as well. Incognito, though, will be the ones strike, taking down Pen here as they also move their way into zone. Game over. Also, you see Carbon and Cons, they're not out just yet. They're trying to make their way into the western side. I don't think they will be doing it, as they will see that zone move even further away from them. Inside, though, in this zone, it will be Hardshift trying to assassinate half of the squad here. They're taking down Omen. Rasa will fall, and Institute taking a lesson from Hardman's squad.
Yeah, they pushed in real hard there, but that's kind of what I was saying about being in that 2-2 split. And Institute from Penetrate couldn't quite just meet up and form up as a 4-person squad in this intense circle right there. I'm not sure what stopped it. Maybe it's the spray down on Omen. Omen was getting sprayed when they were trying to meet up, or maybe they never had an intention to meet up and they just thought it's better to take that split. Because one thing you will see about losing half your squad, what could have just as easily happened over there when Hardshift made that push, as they could have lost the whole squad. So the alternative... Sometimes it's better to lose 2 than all 4 of you, and the split actually pays off, and you can climb forward in those rankings. 11 teams left right now, so not many points to go out right now. And you're only really starting to get the good points in top 5, especially top 3, of course. And if Institute can just stay alive that little bit longer, they're going to get up there. They are actually currently 2nd in the league standings, so they don't really want to be finishing anywhere outside of top 10 with kills. But Clown now pushing in on their location. Do they know? I don't know if Clown know that they're there, but there is 3 in Team Clown very close to Tarzan and Sauron now. Incognito Osmescus taking down Penetrate Cons. Carbon now going to be the last one standing for Penetrate. Game over as Team Clown also take down someone from AMZ. It's popping off in this little circle now. I don't really know where to go to catch the action. One from Team Clown does go down. That will be a nade from Tarzan, so that makes it 2-2. And will Institute come and try and finish this off?
Well, Institute, they're just down to 2 members in Clown. They still got their squad here, but albeit are split here with 3 members. Klaus has been knocked down already. You've got Dime Goat. They're separated 1-1 split, so they are vulnerable. They can be taken out at this moment in time, particularly with the help of AMZ. But look down in the zone here on the south end. These rotations are where it's going to be at. Incognito making their way inside to the zone finally, with Riot Squad just seconds earlier making their way in. That will be the fight, and the rotation in between these 2 teams as the fight breaks out. Incognito, Riot, the trading kills. Incognito just down to Osmescus, so can he find it? No, they won't. As it will now just be Osmescus solo here as Riot pull it off. 3 kills, and they keep all their players alive.
The whole of Hardshift here just trying to farm as many kills as possible, keeping everyone out on the edge of zone, using that high ground to their advantage. Panda goes down, Vidma goes down to Panda, so Lotus knocks out Osmescus, Hazzy gets down Goat. Tarzan's not going to make it either as HS Sparta, HS7680VO is overwatching there, and that will be Institute out to zone as AMZ War Machine goes down to Invasion Trend. There's so many kills happen now. The kill feed's just catching up with itself from many seconds ago. AMZ War Machine down to Invasion Frank. AMZ Harry down to Hardshift. Hardshift just doubled their kills in the matter of about 20 seconds. They got 6 extra kills. They were on 6 before this little zone closed in and pushed everyone around to them, just stealing that high ground. And they're going to still have it now. They've cleared out the high ground. They're going to have the high ground. But big shout to Zeus and Medusa surviving this long, going to try and push up on Hardshift. But I don't know if they're going to get away with it. They might just be donating kills. Maybe they're just going to wait. 3 teams remaining now. Maybe they could play Invasion Esports off hard shift.
Well, it's going to be difficult, particularly for Invasion, to make it up to this mountaintop. Can they climb? Can they ascend against Hardshift's reign on top of the mountain here? You gods of Greece will have to help them in some way to draw the attention off. But they are making the rotation, and keep in mind, this is difficult, though. 12 kills already for Hardshift, and they are looking like the apex predator in this first game. As he knocked down Zeus, Gods of Greece just down to Medusa, potentially Invasion Esports stealing second place away by just slowly climbing round the back end.
They're just nading that smoke instead of pushing. They don't know if it's a full-person squad or not, but they could just charge that and finish it off. More nades coming down. Zeus is bleeding out there. They could have easily finished. Oh, Lotus does get Zeus there. Zeus actually just bleeds out. Medusa now standing alone. Hardman keeping an eye out on that terrain. But Medusa's in zone. And if Invasion come up and distract Hardshift some more, Medusa might be able to pull it to second place.
Well, it's going to be difficult, though. Invasion have drawn the fire. They did get a knock against him, and Dreamer is still alive, though. A grenade will go wide as Tren also trying to make her way around, but potentially Medusa finds a knock up on Tren, and then Invasion Esports fall flat in their face. They unfortunately maybe potentially take third place, but it is all for Hardshift's game right now. They have the 2-2 split, they have the angles, they have the high ground. They're also getting a knock back onto Dreamer here potentially as well, as they go low. Fran trying to go in for the 1v1 no against 7680.
They're going to be amazing if Medusa can even take the first place out of all of this. Anything is possible right now as Invasion and Hardshift go into each other. Hardman takes out Dreamer. Franks also goes down. It's only Trent alive. Looks like Medusa's at least going to bag a second place, but I doubt Medusa can clutch it against the whole of Hardshift as Invasion do get taken out there. Come on, Medusa, what have you got? 1v4,
How long will Medusa survive?
Let's go, Medusa. Clutch of the season. Come on, mate.
Gods of Greece have a good team, Bigfoot, but I don't think they're going to be able to pull this one off. Medusa, they edge their way closer. Potentially, they maybe find a knock, maybe look for a kill, just to add on to the points there that they already got in this first game, though. The grenades and the smokes will be flying out, making it almost impossible for Medusa to make it up into this mountain.
Flying towards Medusa.
Blocking all the vision. Hardman 7680 now going in for the kill.
They're taking the pans out, mate. They've got Hardman's brought the pan out. He's going to try and cook his chicken dinner by hand right now as Medusa picks up a gun. They're smoking up. They want to get this melee kill.
It's a Sunday roast.
The pans are coming in.
Medusa here, he ran 2, he ran 3, I mean feeding here! Bigfoot spotted the only one alive, Millie switched to pans out for guns! Medusa's cooking you alive! And he's fighting! Medusa! The 1v4! Get baited! Get deleted! Gods of Greece are the true gods of game number 1!
That's what you get for being arrogant little children, but they're not even a league team, are they? They're just in it for the laugh.
They are a league team and they got wrecked.
They got put in the league. Oh my god, well that's still arrogant. Anyway, that's just denied them 6 points or so. Wow. And given 4 points to Gods of Greece and kills and that extra 5. So they've lost 6 in exchange for Gods of Greece taking a whole 9 there with their pan arrogance. But thank you for the clips and the lols, Hardshift. You're going down in history. Welcome to the scrim here.
Third part of the night. Anyone?
Yeah, it's going to have to be the last one who had the gun. Who was that? Spartan, the last one standing.
That was Spanning. I do believe so.
Right. Are you getting screenshots, by the way?
Can you get them? Can you get them? My game likes to kick me out. My game doesn't like me, so it's like, hold on, I need a breather. That game.
Yeah, man, that was amazing. So many smokes, so many pans, so many fails. Not a single hit on the pan, and even that, I think it was M7 at the end, whatever he was spraying down with. God, there was so much going on. Wasn't even enough. And yeah, Task down at the bottom there. That was a bit of a shame for Task. They normally pull through a bit hard on that, but it was a 3v4 and a hot drop. And we'll just skim through these on the screen there. You can see as well. Right, did all right in 8th place there with a total of 6 kills. 5 kills of Team Clown, but that last zone where there was about 11 remaining, and when it dropped down to 3 teams, there wasn't much anyone could do. So much chaos there. And it really came down to who had that center zone and who could hold it down the best. And obviously Hardship really did hold it down, but you will see Medusa coming out on top because of that pan attack. And that is a very high lot of points for Sparta, who, if we just have a little double check on the standings, they're not that far off the top 3. You know, they're in 5th place. They've just scored themselves. Oh wow, they've rocketed forward. They have. They're 3rd place now, pretty much. They're going to be 3rd place.
Yeah, that's what kills do. That's what kills do at the end of the game. We had the advantage to high ground. I think, you know, before, okay, 1 versus 4, this should be a clean sweep, guys. Let's just put the smoke down. They're not going to see us coming out with the pans from the smoke and easy bangers for a chicken dinner. But, you know, don't count a single player out in this game.
Nice try. They're already laughing in the chat there. Wow. All right, well, I'm going to load up some half-time clips. And yeah, I'm gonna go make a cup of tea, and we'll be back in a second. But have you got any final words on that chaos there?
Just be aware of what one person can do, basically. Moving into the next games, hopefully we won't see that sort of mistake again, because, you know, every point matters in this league.
I'm actually I'm rooting for Sparta to get top 3, and I know that I can't even criticize them too much for pulling out those pounds, because they've just handed me my dream on a platter. How many? We got a good amount of clips there. Let's get them loaded up for you guys. And Gills.
Yeah, let's get these clips rolling. And of course, you know, we're going to take a break, but he actually doesn't stop, ladies and gentlemen. There's still going to be replays for his first game. Oh my goodness, I'm going ahead of myself here. And we'll catch you guys in a wrangle in game number 2.
Take it easy. Oi, oi, we're back. And I just had to watch that slow motion replay a few times, put it in the slowest motion possible, and watch the undulating side to side. Wow, what a finish. Cheers. Thank you, Hard Shift. Thank you, Medusa.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy mofo killer, mofo bot of the night. I think the easiest one we've had this league, so cheers on that one. Maybe need to rethink our strategy, so moving into game number 2 here. There's a plane path. We'll be going in for the north shooting range over to Novo, and potentially then we start to see a little bit of source through Roshock school area, these kind of drop locations that teams will be taking. Particularly note that Yasnaya, though, has been popular in the past with these teams, so we could see a couple of these squads also drop there. It will be this kind of central belt that we are looking at on these 3 areas where the hot drops will be landing.
Yeah, can't get over it.
You know, welcome back, guys. Of course, you know, if you're just joining to the Penetrate Clan Wars League game number 2. If you missed game number 1, you need to go check it out.
Yeah, just skip back to the end and come back to us, man. And yeah, just checking this roster here. Hardman got in by the hair of his chin. He didn't even register that he was inside the lobby when I started, and then he literally got in with like a second or 2 to spare. So that's anyway. Now we do have mostly full teams here. See where everyone's jumping down. Nice even spread so far. So we're going to see a reasonably spread early game. Apart from Severny, might be worth going down there. Hardshift versus 2 teams. That could be their second place.
This is a redemption.
Destroyed, or it could be their redemption as they take on 2 teams. The other 2 teams are the ones that are closest together. So Riot is actually going to clash here very early on and maybe make it a little bit easier for Hardshift. And they will, of course, be fighting Veni Vidi Vici very early on in this fight. Czar has already gone down from Xena's Uzi there before Czar even had a chance to pick up a helmet or any armor. So it does look like this is going to be the way this is going. Veni Vidi Vici out first, then Hardshift going to try and pick up the pieces against Riot. Nades coming in, taking Czar down a little bit.
You only really need one to ensure that Veni Vidi Vici can't actually revive Cesar, that they will fall down, being bled out there as a result. Hardshift, though, as you mentioned, they are just across the road. They do have to be a little bit careful. Panda and the rest of Riot, though, they look like they're being choked out by a couple of grenades from Buddha. They will have to watch their positioning, but it will be Xena taking down Cesar. They will be bled out. Buddha Meta not quite there on the mark with Loki. And now they are in one building. Potentially then the grenades come out again. Then they get caught. But, you know, also keep in mind, Riot, they can't step too far back. As you mentioned, there is Hardshift just next door.
Yeah, Spartan's trying to get on this already. There's no point waiting to third party. Hardman's up on the rooftop as well. That's going to be a very good vantage point. Hardman, AK, red dot. Nice little AK skin there. Trying to shoot Panda from a distance. There, goes up in the distance as well. Lotus taking a sort of a side angle as Spartan does down Xena. So that will be a rev coming straight on. But Veni Vidi Vici, Buddha stealing that kill. Getting Xena down. Mystic also goes down. That must have been a really good angle from Buddha, but then Buddha goes down as well. A lot of chaos here in this Severny drop. Hardshift still keeping their distance. Going to probably be pretty comfortable for a little bit longer and maybe just clean up this situation as both sides of the other forces get whittled away.
But unfortunately, I think it is Riot Prophecy here. At the most disadvantage. Realistically, we've got these 2 squads beside them. They are a sandwich here. The meat of the sandwich, if you like, a Hardshift and Veni Vidi Vici are the buns closing in on top of them and ready to chomp down on top of them. But, you know, get over it. Panda and Mystic, they're still alive. And they still did survive Buddha's rain down through that excellent window shot that they did manage to get 2 knockups. Well, 1 knockup, 1 kill. But Loki then moving forward potentially could be a little bit of a force engagement. Is also keep in mind, though, 7680 is also rotating that down to the rest of the team. Potentially then Hardshift are obviously looking to then close out, try get these kills. Because obviously they don't want to give them away to Veni Vidi Vici. They want them to take all of these juicy kills on this meat Riot Prophecy sandwich for themselves.
It does look like elsewhere Grassroots have helped themselves. There we have a beautiful nade from Loki. Grassroots elsewhere have helped themselves to a full penetrate team, I think. I'm just going to check the full scoreboard here, and it will be penetrate game over. Down the Grassroots. Mystic goes down after that nade, gets Panda. Riot are on the back foot right now. Veni Vidi Vici looking to clean up, but Hardshift have been watching the kill feed and they're smoking up to come and try and clean up the cleanup. This is actually the best time to third party when a couple of each team is down, or just like one team has not quite finished the other one off, and you can get the most kills out of it.
But it's going to be difficult. Get over it, and whatever trading angles here to try get the best shot on each of them. But Get Over It is lowered down by about 60% health versus 100% here. Buddha also rotating, and potentially they missed their shot. Get Over It to try take down Meta, make it a 1 versus 2 situation. Still 1 versus 3. Get Over It has now reached up into the attic space here. They're trying to hold up here as VVV, Veni Vidi Vici. They're moving in to try flush out this final kill. Grenade goes back in against them though, and Get Over It almost nades themselves back down just to 20% health. A little bit of a panic there will cost them as now they make their way up the staircase. You can call all you want, Get Over It, but you want health. They're gonna pop you like a beautiful little Get Over It trick. But Meta, they will fall down. Buddha.
Wow. Get Over It's just pushing this survival out a little bit longer with that 1 HP, but it looks like Hardship maybe. No! Come on,
How is this surviving?
This is insane. Get Over It surviving so long with 1 HP. Maybe even going to get a knock before it's all over. Hardship really should have pushed in by now, but they're just going to play it slowly and make sure they don't die. They're used to league playing. They're used to not dying in the first half of the game. So this is the best way to play it for them. That means they're not going to suffer any collateral damage for the push. And Get Over It still alive right now. Maybe going to get away with it.
Just waiting for him to just pop into green smoke through a window. They've moved buildings. I'm surprised the Hardshift also hasn't stolen away this kill. This is as easy kill as you get for a third-party team here to be moving in. Veni Vidi Vici, though, they are playing this smart. They are aware the Hardshift are just across the roadside here. They aren't going in too deep, knowing that they could be punished for over-aggression here onto his final kill. So they don't just charge in for that final solo kill onto Riot Prophecy. Keeping him alive here, potentially through all the actions. AMZ also getting a 2 on to Xeno. Frenzives, they will get a couple knockups for themselves, but then Veni Vidi Vici, with that smoke, you can clearly see they don't quite know where Get Over It actually is.
Yeah, this Get Over It's going to get away with it, man, if Veni Vidi Vici don't push into that tiny little shack, and they might just get distracted with Hardshift. I mean, there's been quite a few other things going on elsewhere in the map recently since this game started. There has been a couple of team wipes. I'll show you the scoreboard. Game Over are gone. Nearly all of Invasion Esports are gone. Team Clown and Zen have lost 1 player each. And I just want to stick around here and see if Get Over It gets away with it, and see if Hardshift do anything. Lotus is already going to get another vehicle. They might just be making a retreat. They're still nading that room as if Get Over It's there. Veni Vidi Vici are soon going to find out that no one's there, and actually going to get distracted with Hardshift. There we have it. Another knock. Buddha down from Hardman there. Long shot from the top of that roof. Hardman's just been waiting for the right moment, and it's paid off. Get Over It is completely pinned by Hardman too, though, so Get Over It really just needs to stay on the down low, maybe clean up the remnants of this fight, but if the zone, they are in zones, this could go on a long time right now.
It's a fact also that, keep in mind, Get Over It did nade themselves earlier in this exchange, so they did lose a slight bit of health as a result of it to their mistake, and that is particularly why that they are barely on 1 health. Had they died because of it, that would have been a detrimental mistake for the side of Riot Prophecy, but they do stay alive for now. Veni Vidi Vici, they still don't know where this guy / girl is, this Riot Prophecy member is in this game. It's Hardshift also still keeping their distance, potentially making a flank round, though. Look at Lotus and 76080, sorry, from the backside. That will be a 2-2 split coming out of him, and I think Hardshift, they've had enough of this fight. They take down Meta off the board. They've wiped them down, and Get Over It surviving a little bit as Veni Vidi Vici at once turned on.
Oh man, Get Over just can't move a muscle. And Hardship do start to push it in. They've taken one of any Vidi down. It shouldn't be too hard to finish this off at all right now. And Hardman hasn't moved from this hilltop, man. It's really just time to push him, I reckon. But gonna keep this long range fight with the red dot and the AK. Some good recoil control from that distance, to be honest. AK with no compensator. Some shots come back on Hardman, but just getting straight behind that rooftop again. And,
he's got 1 health bar. He's got 1 HP, man. As soon as he steps outside, he's dead. It doesn't matter. 1 bullet does it. I mean, if you want to smack someone with a pan, now's the time to do it, Bigfoot.
Yeah, where's Hardshift's pans right now, eh? I don't think they're going to be putting them back out as V-Man gets taken down by Rebel. War Machine finishing that off. I'll put the iPad on another fight now. This one's sort of started to die down. Where are they?
Xena Frenzy there, just wiping themselves away out. Yasnai Polyan, unfortunately, AMZ doing the dirty work against them. Taking control of this compound, and while we still wait for Riot Prophecy to eventually die, let's be real here, this zone has moved interestingly up towards the northeastern side of the map, and potentially now we see Stalba is a final location for these teams, as well as Yasnaya Polyana will be that gateway and potentially also could be that final area as well. It is in the center of this zone, and I think it'll be interesting to see how AMZ in particular deal with, Hardshift and Institute did in game number 1. Teams getting into them as third parties, fourth parties potentially. It's not easy holding down a central compound. Potentially just want to be that team that invades it after all the action is finished. Get over it, though. They're dodging all the action as best they can. Staying silent here. Hardshift haven't noticed them just yet, but maybe one of them pokes their head in and finishes them off.
This is so funny. So close. And still just chilling out there.
This is not even right anymore. I mean, how has no one checked the shack?
You don't need
out of all the
shack,
buildings.
Man. No one checks the shack, and I'll say you don't need to. You do sometimes, and this is a case of it. I've seen the shack unchecked have so many secret surprises in. Like, you could make a full compilation on PUBG, an hour-long movie about secrets in the shack. People that are in the closet and don't want to come out, and they don't come out until the right time, until they get pushed. I've seen 4 people wiped as well, running into a shack with 1 person hiding in it, but Hardshift have made that hard push now. They're just like, I was going to say while we were waiting, they really should be showing more aggression. There's only 2 of them left. They know that. They've been counting the kills. They could have made this push a while ago, I was going to say, but they're making it now. So hopefully they can just wipe out Veni Vidi Vici and hopefully get over it. We'll get away with it and not be caught. Maybe
this is a disgusting amount of time. This is 12.5 minutes this fight has gone on, and we're only now seeing Hardshift make that engagement. I think they almost have been pulled back into line a little bit of their aggression from game number 1, right? From Gods of Greece. They're now like, okay, maybe we should all go in. Maybe we should just be tactical about this, starting off in game number 3. If we take down Loki, Buddha will fall. And that is an extra position up on the board. Get over it. I'm surprised that Riot Prophecy, though, Get Over It didn't make a move for it, though, while the side of Hardshift were busy with Veni Vidi Vici, potentially have lost their opportunity to escape.
No, Hardshift aren't going to stay here, man. A, the zone's gone, and B, they're not going to be satisfied with 1 squad wipe. They want to get more kills, get some better position than just hang around in Severny. And they played that end zone high ground game. Last game, they could go up and take the hills next to Stalbar, maybe take this, not sure what you'd call it,
right.
the double warehouse compound that's really good on that high ground. The zone could end up around there, and they could really be lapping in the kills and the high ground finish again, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them make that move into that area. Looking around the map, we do have Institute coming up from the south, driving past that E-Town player. Right, it's the only one on the team, so that's not going to be too much of a drama. Just a solo player there for whatever reason. Maybe just going to add a point to Institute. Yeah, and yeah, people are starting to come into the zone now. DT in the distance, going to come through Grassroots, who have already wiped out Game Over. Also, Gods of Greece Sparta coming in from the south, so going to wait to see where this next zone shifts, really, to see where we're headed in the long game. In the short game now, people are just trying to get into some decent compounds and watch where the shift goes. We've got Penetrate Gunners, full squad here, and they do have someone pushing in on them. It will be the Elves. The Elves...
Yeah, and,
Oh, they keep moving. They're moving.
No, yeah, I think teams are rotating here. They won't want to stay around this area around Mansion, particularly around the area around it for too long. Gunners, though, they do have to be careful. Keep in mind there are 3 squads around them. I think, honestly, the strongest team for positioning right now, kind of, I feel, is actually ZPX Elites, especially if this zone moves towards the north side. They'll be the first to reach Stalber. Potentially, only Unlucky Girl could really contest them, moving up to that double warehouse composition, as you mentioned earlier. But I think they do have a kind of an easy way in to the late game, depending on how this shift goes in phase number 3. I will be wanting to keep my eyes, though, as mentioned, on AMZ, how they'll keep Yasnaya Polyana as a compound as these teams do move closer in. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see too much action apart from Severny was pretty tense. We do see another player, though, join into Severny, as next did be that now fourth party solo player trying to look around for an edge compound, but got caught out instead. Will be deleted out from the top side of our building spawn and taking the kill. They will fall down. Xeno Frenzy, sorry, should I say, in 16th position.
That's hilarious, man.
Get over like,
oh, they're probably going to leave soon. It's probably going to calm down around here, and I'm going to get my chance to move. nothing.
Yeah, Grassroots and Elves here, they're coming together. Potentially, the Elves they like grass, but potentially not these Grassroots here. It will be the Elves trying to keep an eye on their location. They do allow this enemy squad to move untouched, though, for now. Grassroots, they do find a position on the top of this hill, looking for vision on the rest of these teams moving in. Still 15 teams alive, 16 minutes into the game. It could be a quiet one here once again, Bigfoot. See these teams make it through a couple more zones before we start to really see the squad wise. But speaking of, we do go down to 14. There's another kill comes through in that kill feed.
Yeah, Get Over It just couldn't handle the blue zone. Unfortunately, the whole reason Get Over It sat on 1 HP the whole time was because there was nothing to heal with, and as soon as that blue zone came, unfortunately, Hardshift hung around too long, and Get Over It didn't get away with it.
Yeah, it was an impressive run. They did get a bit of survival against the other teams. They did boost their position, but not enough nearly for these nights of scrims in these games here. And now, as you mentioned, Hardshift are moving over to Stalber. This could be a strong position, but they do have to be wary if Lotus does go down with spawning towards the south end of Stalber. There are Dream Team members there. They could snipe them out, potentially. Around Yasnaya Polyana, though, looking down a little bit more south, we do have Unlucky Girls and ZPX, and that's going to be the 2 teams I want to keep my eye on right now, depending on where this zone goes, Bigfoot, because they really have, I think, the most percentage chance, realistically, in the second game to see a lot more fights.
Here we have the amazing Korean pop band Blackpink with their skin on their crate, as well as Grassroots have actually called in a flare as well. Was that it? Was that actually the flare? Could have had 2 guns in. Well, that's just an airdrop. I did hear a flare go off though. Here comes the plane. Yeah, they're going to get a flare drop as well. So they've just scored an M249 and level 3 armor. They're going to score another 2 crate weapons and some more level 3 armor. And they've got a reasonably good spot in zone, considering it's shifted so hard southeast. So Grassroots are actually in for a promising endgame right now. We'll have to see how that plays out for them.
Yeah, this is a tricky Zone 03's teams. Yes, Grassroots are in a good position, but it's not a compound. Keep in mind, it is just open field. There's not a lot of room to maneuver, and they can be very easily punished, Bigfoot, by teams moving into this zone if they aren't able to reposition effectively as these teams rotate in now. Phase 3 zone only, but it feels a little bit more difficult than that. I think Institute, though, they've got of likely here over in Lipovka. They're going to survive another zone realistically without too much effort. But look at this eastern coastline. Look at these teams rotating in. Unlucky Girls. You've got ZPX Elites. You've got Hardshift as well. And even that solo member from 7 Bings. Potentially all these 4 teams to fight.
Task with only 3 players again, but surviving a lot longer without any crazy hot drops. And they're right on top of Penetrate Gunners inside Mansion, but they're on the outside. This is the inside. And, they are going to gatekeep Gods of Greece now, trying to move in, but I don't think Gods of Greece will be pulling up to the Mansion anymore after getting shot on there. They're going to keep moving.
Yeah, it's interesting as well that Penn Institute move away from Lipovka fairly quickly here into Gods of Greece as well. Zeus potentially going to have to stop by here. Sauron will be about 1 versus 1 situation. Zeus immediately wiped off though this first game. Triton also going to fall, and Medusa and Aphrodite, they've now got a little bit more tricky rotation inside. Maybe need to find another way through into this zone, because Institute control this compound, and they will take 2 kills potentially for it if Medusa can't revive Triton. One will indefinitely, though, with Zeus, go their way. Rest of these teams rotating in. No, keep in mind, hard shift. They are rotating around the edge between these teams. Task Force, so they want on the other side of this mansion. Keeping an eye on this map and where these teams are fighting. Onto Pen Gunners.
Looks like it's just
knock down one.
Just Medusa taking a retreat now. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get away with anyone else from Gods of Greece Sparta. And actually also being shot on during the retreat, so Medusa's going to have to come out with another clutch play, but unfortunately the rest of the lobby, the other 49 alive, aren't going to be running around with pans, so it's not going to be so easy. Medusa going to hopefully go for the stealth techniques to survive right now. Maybe just putting up in the shack and waiting it out a little bit, like, get over it.
Well, you know, it only works so long. Unfortunately, you know, Institute and Gods of Greece, they went a little bit too aggressive. I think Institute, they almost paid for it. They almost paid for it with Gods of Greece there, but they do, as a result, get themselves now 5 kills on board. Gods of Greece still sitting in 0. Medusa, yes, you know, Medusa did pull that 1 versus 4 situation off. It was a little bit trolled from Hardshift in game number 1, so don't expect it to happen again. But, you know, you never know. Medusa is a skilled player. They can still pull off, but they will be on their lonesome, as Aphrodite also being finished off there by Penn Institute. Now, these teams all on the north side. The south end of the zone, if it shifts down there, that could be a little bit spicy, because no teams are there right now around the prison area.
Yeah, and if the zone does hard shift, first one there is going to be laughing with that high ground around the prison, but we'll have to wait and see where it shifts. It's going to come in a second, and not very long to go. We see it shift right onto Mansion and north of Mansion, so can these teams on the east side make it in? Dream Team are actually in there's a bit of a mess over on that east side outside of zone with hard shift, Dream Team, ZPX, Lotus starting to smash out ZPX there. These nuts gets Task Andrex elsewhere. It looks like, oh, Hardman goes down, and Nash though, Hardman will get bled out straight away, so that is Lotus and Spartan and 7680 left to deal with Z Paradox, who don't have much health, and they do have a knock. But is this push going to come in aggressive? It needs to be aggressive right now, or it's going to, the numbers are not going to be in Hardshift's favor. Maybe they just want to go to zone.
But keep in mind, they are gatekeeping each other. They're going to have to realistically try find this win in this skirmish here. It will be a 2-on-2 situation. Okada has been knocked, will be potentially now just down out the game, because they can't quite find them in time. They are in that separate building, of course. Lotus and 7680 realistically with the position advantage, but behind them, keep in mind, our Dream Team. They're just waiting on the winners of this fight to then finish them off. A little bit of waste for both these squads to go inside the zone, but inside the zone, keep in mind, as Hardshift also finds Subi, Nash will be soon to fall, most likely. Don't expect too much out of this. Trying to find a way through the smoke, being super sneaky. They will go back to Subi. Smart decision here just to finish off one. Nash also going to be trying to find the second kill, but 1 versus 1 situation. 7680, Nash super low. Can they find him? Nash trying to find it through the smoke. They find 1 confirmed kill. Nash still alive, but it won't be enough. 7680, here's the bullets. Finds the bullets onto Z Paradox, and they will fall down. And ZPX Elites, they will fall in 10th position. 9 teams remaining. 24 minutes into this game. And the strongest team currently right now are Incognito, realistically, in the center of this zone. But this is an open zone, Bigfoot. This is not a zone with compounds in it. It's going to be reliant on vehicles. It's going to be reliant on smokes, especially as AMZ and L's here. They come up and say hello to each other on the north side, and AMZ just wiped the floor with them. L's are splattered all over the walls.
And they're going to take that compound now, but that compound is bared down upon by Incognito. That will be Matas going down to Buzajas' DP. There's shots inside zone as well. Grassroots look like they're going to get another drop over there. That is ridiculous. How many drops are they getting right now? That is the third we've seen in just as many zones. And there's an AWM there now. That is a sum total of 4 great weapons for this team, and everyone has got level 3 armor on now.
Well, AWM going to be particularly important here in these potentially long-range skirmishes towards the end. The kills are flying down to 7 teams now remaining, as Gunners do wipe down a team here. Task Force, they fall down.
Was it not taken down?
Yeah,
They just taken
as
down
well,
Institute.
so that will be 2 teams.
Penetrating got 7. Gunners have got 7 kills now. They've messed with Institute. They're messing with the leaderboard right now. Institute thought they were going to make up for the last game, but they can't make it past 8th place. And they will be out now as Gunners move forward from Mansion, and they're going to be able to take this house on the other side for now. And it's some pretty good terrain for moving through. 7 teams remaining. 2 players for hard shift might make it a little bit tricky for them to come out on top. AMZ and Incognito in reasonably good spots, and very high on the leaderboard right now. They're going to want to be surviving higher than the top 7 as a whole other team gets wiped out. Spartan now moving towards Grassroots slowly. I think this was actually... No, that wasn't it, but at some point Medusa was taken out. I'm trying to work out who did that. But that will be Takita taken out with it. That AWM we just saw land. Spartan really needs a lift here. Maybe that other player of hard shift can pick them up, or it's going to be running on foot. Spartan does actually try and spray down on... Oh, Dragon finishes off on Gabby there. Grassroots really putting that AWM to use, and a big spray down onto the Lucky Girls trying to drive into zone right now. Alexa going as fast as possible with Tokyo on the back there.
But keep in mind is ZPX and Incognito. ZPX, the other team here, Maniacs making their way through the zone. I wanted to mention also how they're rotating in the western side, how they kind of gone unnoticed, but they have finally been spotted out. They did, yes, secure 1 finish onto Incognito. They've been punished for it with 3 on their side being knocked down. Only Lazy alive. They're sitting behind a tree. They're going to have to take a nap, try and rethink when they wake up which way to go. These teams here down just to 1 member. And interestingly, though, while that fight was happening, did allow time for Penn Gunners to make it inside the zone. As we mentioned, this is an open zone. Incognito Grassroots are going to have to fight hard, despite the fact they have these members' advantages, to hold off inside the center of the zone. Grassroots do now have finally a compound to their name, though, so they are a little bit more protected than Incognito in the hillside.
Yeah, big shout out to Gunners making it this far with 10 kills. They're doing really well, and Tabs can still play even though he's got COVID-19 right now. So big shout out to Tabs battling the COVID, you know, coming in, turning up for the scrim and getting a good amount of kills as well, as Gunners might get a really high placement with some really high kills in this game.
AMZ though, they've moved in onto Grassroots, and now this could be potentially the fight here breaking out between these 2 teams. Grassroots, they have been besieged. They could not stop AMZ in the long fight, but now the short fight, close quarters, Dragon has to try fend off 3 members of AMZ making their way inside the building. They will have to be careful though. Trippy is flanked around the other side. Hazzy has been knocked out, so it's a 3-on-3 situation. Grenade's going to be flying high. Can Rebel find Hazzy? Can they revive them back to health? Here, Trippy maybe perhaps looking for that confirmed kill, but the smokes will come out, smoke row to try revive their teammate. Has to be quick go. Hazzy is ticking down. Rebel might have left this too long. Unfortunately, they have left it too long. Rebel will be knocked down. 3 versus 3 here, Bigfoot. It's Dragon. Matters now heading to head. Sander being knocked here now. Dragon, the only one alive in this section, but Matters War Machine making a 2 versus 1 situation. Xander's going to be crisp up in the corner of this compound here, and it will just be them burning down. Dragon also burned down by the bullets, and also their 3rd member goes down as Trippy falls to Rebel from outside. Grassroots wiped down in 6th position here. AMZ in control of this compound, but it
Hard shift, try and make a hard shift on a motorbike and barely get away with it. The hole to penetrate, spraying down on... Oh, and it's actually Osmezgus that finishes off Spartan, so that will be hard shift out in 5th place. Penetrate getting 1 kill, Incognito getting another.
making their rotations in. ZPX Lazy is still alive, though. Keep in mind that sole player. We've seen it pull it off in game number 1. We see them now pulling off a knock up onto Bejajas. Will be a confirmed kill. Will, regardless if they go down, as Fed Incognito's positioning here and the way and a route into zone as Meskis and Vidma being camped by the solo player 1 versus 3 situation. But on the other side, it is Pen Gunners just lapping it up right now as Meskis will be not Vidma. Lazy 1 versus 1 against a full squad of Gunners.
Wow, crazy stuff there, and it does look like Gunners are going to take their first big chicken dinner with kills of the season. I've got the emulator back. It kicked me out just randomly in the middle of that one for no reason, but here we are, back with both screens. Vidma,
look at Gunners and their positioning, right? They've got this 2-2 split. They're respecting the fact that, you know, ZPX, Maniacs here are still a threat, potentially moving in with the smoke. Incognito aren't a team to take lightly either. They are making sure that they're respecting both sides.
FPX has got no heals, and they don't know if it's 2 or 3 teams. We see how many teams are left, unless they've been clinically examining the kill feed. Then probably think it's a 4v2, but 4v1v1 is pretty simple as Lazy comes around the back of Tabernac, trying to spray Tabernac down, but Vish is going to Grozza the Lazy straight out, and that was an instant kill, so they now know the last guy is a solo, and it's going to be pretty simple for them. Incognito Vidma. Only got 5 bandages as well. Going to try and go for the clutch play, but Penetrate do have guns, not pans right now. Gets that knock on D's nuts. Going to try and get this last point before getting destroyed. And will get 1 more point for the kill feed, but Menace is now running round. Vidma is about to be taken out, and it will be all over as Gunners take a very high kill chicken dinner.
Yeah, it will be. Pen Gunners taking that chicken dinner home, 2nd game victory on top of, keep in mind, 13 kills as well. So they will be lapping up those points in their league system here and really pushing themselves up on that scoreboard. But Incognito, keep in mind, they take the 2nd place and also keep in mind a little bit behind that hardship there in 5th position, still keeping 8 kills and that top 5. They're gonna be looking good in these nights so far, despite a little bit of a blunder in the first game.
Ooh, I'm being advertised to right now, but I haven't seen this advert yet, so I'm gonna watch it. Oh my days, what's happening? Oh, there's an amphibious vehicle? Did I just see an amphibious vehicle? Is this Payload Mark II advert? We're going to do some Payload Mark II scrims with that quadruple rocket launcher, eh? Who didn't even tell me? I know it's Payload Mark II, wow. Better than the Power, when the Power Rangers danced at me unwittingly. I didn't want them to. That did my nut in, but that was actually a pretty cool little advert there, and I am actually pretty hyped for Payload Mark II. Could be interesting. Could be very interesting.
Yeah, it will be Penetrate Gunners obviously in this game, taking 1st place, Incognito in 2nd, ZPX Maniacs in 3rd, Animalizer in 4th position, Hardshift in 5th, Grassroots 6th position, Unlucky Girls in 7th there, Pen Institute in 8th, Elves going to take 9th, ZPX Elites in 10th position, Dream Team in 11th, Gods of Greece in 12th, Task Force in 13th, 7 Binks in 14th position, Riot in 15th, it was the Zen in 16th, 16th, yeah, Venivici in 17th, 18th will go to Team Clown, 19th will be NV, and also Invasion Esports, should I say, sorry, and also 20th there. Fortunately, you know, game over. They didn't have a great game, 20th position.
Yeah, but leaderboard's being changed around a little bit tonight. It could be some extra boost for some people. Gods Agree Spot, if they can have one more good game, will probably be staying up there in the top 3 for at least this week. And we have the replays playing, so we'll let you examine them for a little bit while we take another break. Back in about 10 minutes with the last game of Sandhawk. Hello, 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 we're back. Welcome. So game 3 now. Just running around the lobby of Sandhawk. Soon have sights on the flight path.
Yeah, we will. Third game here. We just came off of a wrangle where Pen Gunners guys got the win. First game as well. Went over to Gods of Greece. A little bit of a hard throw by Hard Shift in the first match. Did cost them, unfortunately, their first place victory. But this playing path will be going down for the north side, guys, over down to Lakawi for this final match. And over Paradise Resort, interestingly enough, you know, AMZ here, they dropped over Paradise Resort in game number 3. Also got joined by Scrim Farm, got a little bit wrecked by them in early stages. I'm hoping this game, Bigfoot, they'll survive longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, good luck with that. So, teams jumping out, some obviously most south with that northern flame path, so most jumping south of it. Bootcamp could be interesting. Gods of Greece look like they're heading to, you guessed it, Painan. AMZ look like they're heading to, you guessed it, Paradise Resort. You will probably just jump into Bootcamp. Bootcamp's always a classic place to watch. Doesn't look like all teams are landing directly inside Bootcamp. Hard Shift have taken it. Could be interesting. Invasion Esports going for the main building as well. Load up here. Looks like there's so many people dropping. I've got a little bit of a drop glitch. Lotus is already down, unfortunately. Invasion Squiggly Chinese name's down as well. Invasion Dreamers down from Task and Meal. There's a lot of fighting going on here. Hardman making a rotation round. Maybe about to be taken out by Marina.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Invasion Esports here. They do have potentially the strongest position though together here. Unfortunately, Hard Shift are split. Task Force looking for redemption in this final game, starting off against Hard Shift, Hardman and 7680, retreating back into the 3-tier building here as Emil and Marina make their assault onto them to try catch them before they regroup with Spartan. Unfortunately, have lost Lotus already. That will make an equal 3 versus 3 against Task Force. And it's interesting to note, right, that so many teams drop over in Boot Camp. We only had one team drop over in Boot Camp last week, which was Gods of Greece Olympus. Not even here this week. And it was all about Paradise Resort back then. Now it's going to be a hot drop here in Boot Camp. The Task Force, they have found one knock onto Emil, but double beautiful grenade from 7680 finishes the hopes of Task Force off. And now Spartan just trying to find Andrex. Can he find the shots here again? 7680. No, he won't. But here comes Invasion Esports. He sends the kills. He sends the kill feed going off here. And they're looking for Spartan. Yes, they have found it. Now Fran and also the rest of Invasion moving in here. 7680 potentially will also be down here. Not long for his world. One bullet will do it. They will surround him like a pack of hungry wolves. They are. Invasion Esports control Boot Camp early on, and I tell you what, that did not go as expected.
Didn't last very long, didn't go as expected at all. I did think Invasion were going to get the third party, but not in the 3rd minute. I thought maybe in a couple more minutes that'll be when that happened, but that just all happened in the blink of an eye. Task taken out mostly by Hard Shift there, and Invasion finishing off Hard Shift, taking Boot Camp and all the loot to themselves. Take a look at the map and look at the rest of everyone else's locations. AMZ gonna have to come down from Paradise. There might be another fight for Team Clown heading towards a drop, possibly. But yeah, having a little look at the map, we can see AMZ, Gunners, Institute, Z Paradox, Ant-Man's team up in the northeast, all going to have to come into this sort of boot camp area of the map. Grassroots and Team Clown could clash right now. We've got Elves and Game Over down in the southeast. They're going to come in to the zone from there. Maybe Elves pin Game Over out. This looks like going to be their plan from that high ground.
Yeah, this is a target drop from Elves. Docks are where actually Game Over do drop. That's their primary drop location. So Elves potentially have seen this throughout the week. They are now going to try flush out Game Over. And it would be dire for them, considering they got last position in game number 2 as well. This wouldn't be the game that, and set of games that they really wanted in this night at all. And just being really hurt here when they're down. But this zone as well, looking a little bit tricky as well, Bigfoot. I think that seeing how there is this water still in play, it feels almost a little bit like a phase 2. Early on, there's still teams to make it round the northeastern side. So I'll be interested to see how AMZ, or ZPX, and Penn Institute make their way into zone. Potentially Penn Institute going down the south side, round the eastern coastline and in through Quarry. Potentially an option there for them.
Grassroots have sort of left this Team Clown situation behind, mostly, but they still could meet up pretty soon. They just didn't rush straight into each other. So maybe go and check out what the Elves are saying in their pin and seeing if they're going to be able to make use of this. I'd just like to welcome YouTube to the clan. YouTube is our new member. I've got a little bit of a bio here from YouTube. I can just read it out in 2 seconds. YouTube is an American online video sharing platform headquartered in San Bruno, California. The former PayPal employees, Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jared Kareem, created the service in February 2005. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the clan, YouTube.
I feel honored. What a sight. I mean, okay, hear me out here. If we got YouTube in the clan and we're streaming through YouTube, does that make YouTube a person or an object? Or a thing to stream through?
Well, corporations are kind of a thing of their own these days. Corporations have a lot more power. You could even deem them conscious objects. They have a lot of different nodes inside them. The employees work as a neural pathway. So it's up to a lot of existential theory whether companies are in fact beings yet or not. Some of them are even ran by AI in certain respects. We are heading towards that. Okay. So your question is an existential one I don't feel I've got the tools to answer quite yet, Wolf. But
it's a tricky one.
It's a pleasure to have such a long-standing member of the streaming community and such a good service provider, part of the Penetrate clan.
Right. It is certainly an honor to have the platform here with us to really nail down, hopefully, Elves. But it's going to be a tricky climb, you know, for YouTube to gain momentum here. The platform's just really starting off in its third game. They're going to need to really hit that first, hit that million subscriber mark. You know, they really got to find the first 4 kills onto Elves, and from there, maybe gain something.
YouTube actually has 2 billion users, so bearing the weight
wow,
of a lot
I think
of people.
They're cheating. I mean, I know they needed to get out of last place, but 2 billion, that's a lot of plays.
2 billion active users on YouTube worldwide. A heavy burden to bear. A lot of responsibility. And actually going to make it away from the Elves. So the Elves, that pin didn't quite work as they didn't cover the rear retreat and Penetrate make that rotation around themselves. They actually managed to get into a boat. And as Klein desperately tries to catch up with them, doesn't know that they've got on a boat, and they might make it completely scot-free all the way to the next location of the circle if they stay in it, but they're going to be possibly pushing it on Dream Team depending how far they rotate right now.
Yeah, I'd love them to stop by the compound just to the east of Dream Team, just before Sami, in between Bantai, would be excellent positioning here, especially on the edge of the zone, just edge their way in, especially considering his zone phase 2 has still included water inside of it, and keep in mind, it's still, albeit a small chance, got all 3 islands in play, so we still could see a shift up to the North Island, we still could see a shift towards the Eastern Island, we could, heck, see a shift into the ocean later on. There is more ocean realistically than these 2 islands put together, but it is going to be tricky. A rotation round through these teams on the eastern side, trying to find a way between both Riot and Gods of Greece. Potentially Invasion could start that fight off and then cause a little bit of a skirmish that allows the rest of these teams to make it through.
Yeah, I moved over to AMZ and Z Paradox here, thinking that they might be getting into a bit of a fight. There's a lot of people coming in from the east side, a lot of people inside the zone. It's actually 16 teams still remaining. Hasn't been too much of a bloodbath so far here in Sandhawk, but this zone is pushing these teams dangerously close together, and we're going to see like situations where 2 or 3 teams get deleted in a matter of less than a minute. As we come into this east side of the zone, it's going to get extremely busy, and on the next shift, very, very messy. Gods of Greece looking like they had a pretty good drop in Painan with no conflict. They've got all the loot, and they're moving center of zone right now. Incognito also there. Incognito, of course, they were already in the top spots. Incognito were actually pretty high up. I think it was third, second. Sorry, they're first right now, and Institute second, AMZ third there, and Gods of Greece sneaking up, maybe ahead of AMZ. Depends how this game goes.
It's interesting, actually, yeah, to note that this race, right, to get to the main island is now the main priority for these squads. Team Clown, they couldn't quite finish off, though, unfortunately, to all of the members of Grassroots by getting into the zone and then gatekeeping him out from there, which was the plan. Unfortunately, they did see Goat get knocked, unfortunately, initially, and then now also Death and Clouds as a result have been punished for it. I'm kind of confused to see why, when you get someone knocked in your team for falling behind, you then try go back to save them as a 3-man squad. You really don't see it working out, and unfortunately now put themselves on the low ground disadvantage against Grassroots with only Goat alive. It's going to be just a couple more seconds realistically before Trippy now runs them down and finishes them off. Most likely, I really don't expect much to go down. It will be them falling in 16th position. I think punished to trying to make sure that all 4 members stay alive. But most notably, as this race continues, AMZ potentially ZPX, that fight breaks out. Inside, we still keep an eye on Gods of Greece and Unlucky Girls just to the northeast of Sami. But it will be AMZ to strike first against ZPX, sorry, I should say.
And Penetrate pushing in here, picking a fight with Zed Paradox, even though they're outside the zone. There's a buggy here just to get out of this situation, but they're really going for the kills right now. Omen goes down from Ant-Man from a distance there. Institute taking a knock. It was probably going to be a loss altogether. Tarzan rushing back maybe, or pretty tricky to choose a fight when you're outside a zone trying to get in. And if you look at the map right now, they are absolutely surrounded. And AMZ still hugging the side, trying to gatekeep some more. Zed Paradox and Institute might go down now to AMZ and each other.
Yeah, unfortunately, ZPX, they choose that 2-2 split. Ant-Man will now be the next one to fall. Institute, though, keep in mind these teams are now in phase 3. They're inside the blue zone. All of them still these 3 squads. And I think ZPX, Subi, and Nash are playing the right game right now in terms of retreating away, allowing Ant-Man to buy them some time with distraction. But War Machine also did catch Subi out on their rotation, will finish him off. And unfortunately, ZPX, they're down to 2 members. Ant-Man, let's be real, will fall down eventually. Nash, the only player that's going to be surviving going into now a phase 3 zone. It has confirmed that we will be finishing on this southwestern island.
And as Institute run out, Rasa, the last one standing, might not make it to zone, but still, he's done it before. He's actually in zone. He's going to do it again. Maybe Rasa can make it to like the top 3 again, like we saw last week in Sandhawk. It could happen, but that is definitely some extra points and placement points for AMZ there. Three kills right now. They got a couple extra by holding out that area. And they might get some more as they move in, but they really want to stay on top of this. Now that Institute have fallen behind them in players, they might be able to overtake them in the scoreboard if they can get some more kills and some high placement. This scoreboard's going to be upset tonight at the very least, I can tell you that. I can't tell you how it's going to be at the end of this game, but it's going to be a different story next week.
Yeah, Venimity Vici there will finish off YouTube. Not able to distract him with cat videos, but Buddha is returned by Devious. YouTube, though, going to be revived back up. And the revival of YouTube here as they approach now 2 kills, making it potentially 4. They're really racking up these kills almost as fast as they're racking up these views tonight. YouTube looking to make it more in this final game. And, of course, Game Over as a whole don't want this game to end for themselves, but Cesar and Meta are realistically in a better position for this zone. They can gatekeep them out, as this blue zone very shortly will now start to move in against Game Over, particularly. It will be still teams moving in around each other, potentially on the northern side, though. Shift our eyes towards their Incognito. This 2-2 split could cost them. We saw 2-2 splits before, but they are between Riot and Invasion Esports, two really good teams when they are on top form, and could be punished for it.
Heavy boy getting a knock there. And, really, really sad to see Nash miss a chance to completely squad wipe AMZ. When AMZ were running, all four of them were in that water at the same time. Nash could have sprayed them down completely, but just chose to stay prone and maybe heal for placement, maybe make a move now, but definitely I stayed waiting on Nash, because if Nash just stood up and sprayed AMZ going through that river, they could have had some hilarious moments, maybe even a full squad wipe, but taking the patient game, hopefully going to make it to zone now, healing and running, as Grassroots also try and pin AMZ out.
Yeah, Benevidivici looking to try flush out Quan as well on the south side of Elves as they make their assault inside the zone. But Elves equally returning the fire. Meta and the rest of Benevidivici, these two members will have to be careful, but they do finish off the kill. They will secure that compound for themselves. Still behind them, though, they did give way to YouTube and Devious to get back into the play zone here. And I think also we need to note, right, Gods of Greece, their positioning on this northwestern side, looking really strong right now in his final game to secure himself a second chicken dinner in tonight's matches. They are going to have the strongest position regardless, I think, of where this zone goes, and also the fact that they don't have to fight anyone. The rest of these squads, they're going to have to drop members here and there potentially, because there's no easy way in through the eastern side.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's a queue to get in. AMZ and Invasion. Grassroots have moved in. They're on the inside of zone right now, but Invasion going to be able to maybe pin out AMZ, so we'll see what Franks is up to. Looks like Invasion trying to get to zone as well before choosing any fights, which is a good idea, because if you do have to stop moving, you'll already be there, ready to continue the pin. AMZ not too far behind. It'll be interesting to see how they make this maneuver in. Invasion Esports, they've managed to make it into zone. They might just wait them out.
Invasion Esports here, they will, I imagine, as you say, gatekeep AMZ, but on the south side it is Dream Team fighting ZPX. Maniacs here in the south end, and they're trying to find an angle. They have found a couple here, as it will just be Lazy and Kavesh standing. Unfortunately, I think it's been a little bit of a tricky set of nights once against the ZPX Maniacs. Not quite, I think, the caliber that we expect coming out of the likes of ZPX Elites, but as a second-tier team in terms of the ZPX duos here, I think they still have potential, right? Just like ZPX Elites, and if they come together potentially in this fight, they can take down Dream Team, but it's going to be difficult with only 2 versus 4 situation right now.
AMZ, of course, pushed in so well on Invasion Esports, dominating that area, completely wiping them off. And this is AMZ back. They might be climbing forward from 3rd spot on the league tonight. If they can keep getting these kills and ranking up the points, they need to keep up with themselves, because for such good successes in the 1st and 2nd season, at the start of this one, they're not quite as on top of it as they would have hoped, but we've seen them rack those later season games in before and push forward to 1st place. They might do it again. But right now, Incognito's still in the game. They've actually got half as many kills as AMZ, but they've got a nice, good position too. This could go 1st place for Incognito. It could be 1st place for AMZ. Sparta right there with such a good first game might be taking a really good chicken for this game too. They've got a really good compound selected. The zone coming in right now might head straight towards them again. As we see the zone about to shift. Is it going to give Gods of Greece a favor? It doesn't. Gods of Greece are going to have to move.
Yeah, I'm also keeping an eye on ZPX versus Dream Team. Kavesh could potentially pull out the upset with only 2 members remaining on their squad as a result of the blue zone ticking down. Well, he has made it out. I don't think Kali will retreat back, but I think because Kavesh can't find these grenades quite onto RV, it will be a punish against them. And yes, they will be potentially wiped out. I do think, though, they have to be a little bit careful moving into zone, whoever comes out this fight, because it is still a ways away. The zone has shifted away from every team, leaving is a more open finish. In particularly note the positioning, I think, of Grassroots on the top of this hillside, right? They've got the little shack here to hold up in on the top of the hill. They've only realistically got the duo of Benny Vidi Vici to contest against them, but they do have to be wary behind them. Animal lions stalking up through the trees.
Yeah, this is a strong position if you catch people out on their way to you, but if they do manage to sneak up on a blind spot and surprise you. But it looks like Xander's aware that there's a push coming from that direction. Are they going to take it? Or are they going to keep a rotation round? It looks like they're going to try and hold this one out. War Machine does go down. That will be Incognito. Vidma taking War Machine down. Wow. Incognito getting right into it outside the zone, but there's 2 down, and that will be Bodeja's finished off. So AMZ with another couple of with 3 more kills there, I think. And to 19 kills. Ooh, but Rebel goes down from up the hill. Matas goes down, and War Machine goes down, and just like that, the tides turn. Is only Hazy alive now, desperately trying to make it for a rev. Maybe Matas is going to be the only one that's going to get rev right now. But AMZ looked like they had it. They looked like they were hot. But Grassroots coming down to affect their situation, and it's really going to mess up their plans. Hazy literally has to take on all 3 of them right now. Can Hazy do it? Clutch. Hippie Boy goes down.
The Grassroots.
Xander goes down. Hazy is on fire. It is just Dragon left. Can this be a clutch that saves AMZ's positional points tonight or not? Dragon desperately trying to spray down. We're going to switch to Dragon's perspective and see what Dragon can see.
It's a 1 versus 1 situation here. Bigfoot Dragon has to potentially go for his revive. This is risky. Hazy could chuck the grenade out to finish him off, all 3 of them together. Make it a spicy trio kill for Hazy. But can he do it? Can he find a clip on his board? Yes, he can. He will finish him off with just a few bullets to spare. Hazy will take them down, keep Max alive. It was a good flank. I liked the aggression coming out of Grassroots, but he couldn't pull out this individual skill against AMZ when it came to it. And as a result, they got punished and now in 4th position, just down to 3 teams here in phase 6 now. 21 minutes in the game. Gods of Greece all the while during that kill feed going wild there between those 2 teams. Have now made a 2-1-1 split across one side of the zone. So they will have control, potentially really over 50% of now this zone moving in. Benny Vidi Vici, though, they take Grassroots position and then make it now a 2 versus 2 against AMZ. We've got to Greece to clean up whoever wins.
Yeah, completely switching the game. And like I said, it's such a clutch because it saves the positional points so much. Surviving that much longer and taking out Grassroots has just added like double figure points to AMZ's score. Really, really going to be paying off, especially if they can survive till 1st place right now and keep themselves at the top of this league table. But of course, Gods of Greece Sparta, the underdogs from the 5th place, probably jumping forward towards 3rd place tonight. And if they can really secure this kill, Triton does go down to Hazy. If they can secure this chicken dinner as well, they're going to be laughing in this top spot. Maybe even with this 3rd spot and 5 kills, they could be pushed forward and maybe push AMZ out. We need to see the final scores. Medusa,
look at Medusa.
Medusa goes down. Triton's down. This is really not good for Sparta. But Meta is also down. Zara is about to go down too. Meta gets finished off by Matas. And now Hazy and Matas going to push in. That does buy Gods of Greece some time. And it might be a 3v2, which makes it even better for Gods of Greece right now if Sar gets distracted with AMZ and AMZ finishes them off. And that will be what happens. So, 4v2 for Gods of Greece. Can they pull it off?
Gods of Greece, so they have really taken advantage of Benny Vidi Vici's positioning, but Medusa's going to knock him down. A grenade potentially onto Matas, will find it, and has the 1 versus 1 situation. Zeus, can you survive? Can Hazy pull out the stops once again? No, he will not. And Gods of Greece, like little back Foxy's, wow, Foxy's just snatch away the final chicken dinner here. a second win on the board for them, as 7 kills go towards their squad as well. Really well played to them in their positioning in that final couple zones, just to make sure that they ensured all 4 members alive. And as we mentioned, the rest of the teams had to fight. They lost members, and the result were at disadvantage when it came to the last straw.
That is the best and the luckiest grenade I have ever seen. It bounced off a freaking tree, mate. It was not even... I was like, oh, they've moved. That grenade's not going to land. I was like, what a well-aimed grenade. That's going to land where they are. Then I thought, oh, AMZ are on the move. Unlucky that well-aimed grenade isn't going to hit. And while I was thinking that, the fucking grenade hit off a tree and bounced back to AMZ's new location.
Just skill.
New location. No, mate, that is the hand of God. But anyway, this is Sparta, and they are up there now. They are up in the top 3 for sure.
Yeah, not only just double chicken dinners, but also strong kills. And keep in mind, Gods of Greece in the second game, they had an all-right performance there. I mean, I'll get it up for you if you give me a little bit of a second, their exact result on their positioning. But I think overall, Gods of Greece have looked much, much stronger. And this is interesting to note that this team going into tonight weren't really the favorites either, but they still pulled out the stops. Unfortunately, I do have the result there in the second game and did fall down in 12th position with 0 kills. So definitely the first and the third match is going to balance their scores out overall for tonight's matches.
Yeah, I'll have to see the final maths on this, but if Gods of Greece haven't pushed AMZ out, they're going to be hot on the tail of 3rd place, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be up there. This is very, very good upset to the league, and I've been saying I wanted Sparta to push forward, and they said they'd do it for me, and they are doing it. So thank you, Sparta, for the clips. Thank you for the excellent teamwork. Thank you for the 2 of the best finishes we've ever seen in Clan Wars in one night as well. That is insane.
Yeah, beautiful finishes. I think definitely, you know, some may call it a little bit of a fluke. The Gods of Greece stole away that first chicken dinner, albeit they just outplayed a very aggressive and unrespectful hard shift team in the first match. And you know, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. It was a beautiful play from the side of Gods of Greece just to finish it off. And
I had to load it up. This is going to see the rebound now. I'm going to put on slow motion. You've got to see this grenade, man.
I mean, the third match as well was still much more deserved. They kind of came back. They proved, like, look, we can actually take a chicken dinner. Legitimately, we can do it with all 4 members still up in the game. And as you mentioned, that grenade is just beautiful. Beautiful grenade finishing off the final members of AMZ as they try to close out that game.
Right, here we are. This is Gods of Greece, Zeus cooking a nade. He said he was going to spam them. He said he had 8 grenades. He was going to rain down on them like a red zone. But watch this. It's really well aimed for guessing where they were. It's heading towards Matas. It actually would have overshot. As Matas repositions, it bounces off a tree and hits him in the head. Let's just see that again. That is ridiculous. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's just beautiful to see when you see the grenades game really elevates itself. Albeit okay, you know, the hand of God or whatever you want to call it did help out Gods of Greece in that final moment onto Hazy there and Zeus, so they just really couldn't finish it off. And Zeus finished them down, shut the door in the hopes for a chicken dinner. But albeit, if we start to see more grenade plays like that more consistently, it's beautiful to watch and it can really change a team fight. And I think this is what really will elevate teams moving into the future weeks, right? Get them more points, get them better positioning, is if they can execute the long-range grenade game and if they can really pick out a member or 2 early on and then from there make it so much easier to engage in these fights if you've got one knocked down.
Yeah, so since I loaded the replays, I'll let the Sandhawk replays run through and then we'll be getting off. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Big thanks to Tarzan and Tier for the big donations on the Patreon. You can see the links down there for both of them. Go get yourself signed up. And we'll see you again next week for Clan Wars Episode 5. And also on Friday, starting a late night Sons of Odin scrim at 10 p.m.
Yeah, catch you guys soon.